Your Sukkah is an idolatrous Christmas tree that worships the darkened shadows of self and the idolatry and wickedness of Satan at this wonderful, beautiful time of Sukkah. Booths. Did you know this, guys? Stay tuned. I want to read you a little article which came on Christopher's Facebook yesterday. And I mean, what are the chances? You couldn't plan any of this, guys. I wasn't going to do another video. You couldn't plan this. Look, this article came up just on his newsfeed. It said, what on earth is a Sukkah and what is it doing in that empty parking lot? The view from my window yesterday, this is just some guy in America, I think. The view from my window yesterday would have made an awesome time-lapse video. I watched trucks pull into a boring empty parking lot. I didn't think twice when they started covering the lot with carpet. But a few hours later I looked over and there appeared to be a giant bird's nest in the making. What does it mean? I had to know. He's taken a photo of it, see? That circle there. Doesn't even look like a sukkah, does it? See that giant bird's nest in there? The structure is still there today, looking fairly complete. So I wandered over to check it out. The people erecting it informed me that the giant bird's nest is actually a sukkah, which pretty much was no help. What is a sukkah? This is a closer look at it. I mean, it's it's a designer sukkah. Not just a sukkah, a designer sukkah. They're trying to win awards with it. In short, it's a traditional Jewish structure assembled during the Sukkot holiday, as it explains. In physical terms, it's a hut-like structure in which one sleeps, eats, and communes during Sukkot. And as for religious symbolism, the Sukkah, its purpose is to commemorate the time the Israelites spent in the wilderness after they were freed from the slavery of Egypt. It's all to commemorate when the children in the wilderness, Israel, to commemorate the time they spent 40 years in living in tents. But I mean, is that really a reason? Did you see what they were doing for those 40 years? What is the commemoration about? The commemoration and the wedding feast, if they got it together and done the right thing, they would have been in the promised land. But they didn't. They complained, bitched, whinged and complained and moaned about everything, went against and worshipped idols and golden calves and you name it, they were getting into it. And they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. And only 2 men made it into the promised land of Canaan. And we're commemorating this? Why? Where does it say to... I'm baffled. Traditionally, sukkahs are simple tents or basic structures. Sukkahs or booths are simple tents or structures. But Sukkah City, there's a place called Sukkah City. Sukkah City, no, it's not a place. It's a... I just woke up, guys. I'm a bit tongue-tied. Sukkah City is a competition, a design competition. $1 Million Sukkah. Another reality TV show, guys. Sukkah City, an international design competition. They recently invited designers to submit their concepts for Sukkah 2.0. The winning submissions were constructed and on view in New York City's Union Square a few days ago. And now DC's 6th and historical synagogue has commissioned one of the winning designs to be rebuilt there right across the street. Good eye spotting our Sukkah, mate, Roger Bennett wrote in an email. He's one of the contest organisers. It is the first to leave New York City and a precursor, we hope, for the second phase of Sukkah City. Next year, we hope to build on the footprint of this year's event and have sukkahs built in 20 cities across the globe. Who knows? We may be able to build a sukkah at the White House. After all, they do an Easter egg hunt there. Check out this video coverage of Sukkah City in Union Square. The video won't play right now, but I'll post this this web page. I'll post this web page in the video here, so you can see if you want to follow along and see what I was just reading. But what about the timing? This came up on Christopher's news feed yesterday, and so he wrote this about it. The Feast of Booths. because we're in the Feast of Booths still a couple more days for the Feast of Booths. Read this article, which we've just done, and see how the Feast of Booths is being celebrated in the ways of worldly wickedness. Can you understand this? Can you understand this? They are making a mockery of this feast, and they want it to become a global celebration by having architects design booths in many major cities. This is making these booths competitions the centre of the Feast of Tabernacles, bringing fame and fortune to the booths while distracting from the true meaning. Building a booth is following the traditions of men. They are shadows of the true meaning of coming together in truth and sincerity. So this is where it all started. A couple of weeks ago, did a video about sincerity and truth. Instead of doing all these childish things, zeets and blowing shofars and lighting candles and all this nonsense, holding up bread and cups and, foot washing. Come together in sincerity and truth, like mature grown-up adults, and discuss and have a feast and a celebration. And obviously Yahusha will be the centre, and you'll talk about Yahusha, and whatever goes down, it goes down. Someone might be having a heartbreak, someone might be having drama. Otherwise, you might be having a celebration, and you might have wonderful things to share. But you don't have to, like if you were having a dinner party, like inviting people over, you don't naturally, most of us don't plan it. You just come together and see what's going to happen, because you're friends. But this whole religious ceremony of coming together, and can't you see it's a hangover of church? It's a hangover of synagogue. So it's distracting from the true meaning. What is the true meaning? Please don't go posting scriptures after scriptures after scriptures underneath my video here of where we are commanded to build sukkahs, where we are commanded to light candles and blow shofars and all this stuff and bread and wine and all the commandments. Don't go post. I understand where you're coming from. I understand. I've read the scriptures, I understand where you're coming from. But this year, during this feast time, harvest feast time of Sukkahs, Yahusha has liberated his bride. He's taken another big step in liberating us to say, understand me, see me. Can't you see I want you to see me? Instead of sitting all around there doing all this childish stuff, focus on me. I want you to know me. I want you to know me. To know what all those shadows meant. Instead of getting together and focusing on the shadows, I want you to get together, and even if you can't get together, I want you to focus on me, to see me, because I love you. I love you. That's what it's all about. Building a booth is following the traditions of men. They are shadows of the true meaning of coming together in sincerity and truth. Making a celebration of these booths is wickedness from Satan. I believe that. It's wickedness because of what it's become today. In this valley of the shadow dwellers. Making a celebration of these booths is wickedness from Satan, distracting from the true meaning of the worship of our King and Creator Yahuah. We need to be taught and experience these truths to have understanding of real truth. We need to be taught and experience these truths to have understanding of real truth. True believers no longer worship these booths or even erect them anymore, for they understand it is bringing Satan amongst us, no different than a Christmas tree. No different than a Christmas tree. He said, how dare you compare my sukkah to a Christmas tree, you wicked man, Mark. I said it. Christopher wrote it. Blame him. No, I said it. I agree. How could you declare such a wicked thing? They represent the same thing. They're bringing Satan into our homes because they are not honouring Yahusha in sincerity and in truth. They are an old shadow which have been picked up by religion, transformed and, bastardised. And the message, they don't even talk about the true message. It's like Passover. They sit around and do this whole big Seder thing with bread and wine and, cats and dogs and all sorts of rubbish that they go on with, holding up all sorts of stupid stuff, and they don't even believe in Yahusha. Can you see how this is ridiculous? Every feast is the same. It's a worldly feast, a worldly Jewish feast. And just because we understand Yahusha and understand that we're not Jewish per per se. We're understanding nothing if we still do what they do. Oh, but it was written in the scripture first. Yeah, as types and shadows, hoping that with Yahusha's Ruach inside us, we would have the intellect and common sense to go, oh, okay, we don't have to do that because Yahusha did that, you know? Do I have to go through the list again? We don't have to blow shofars because it's not even a shofar. It's the day of the shout. If anything, you should be out there shouting like an idiot, not blowing a shofar. But you don't have to shout like an idiot because we're waiting for the day that Yahusha, the global air siren goes forth, you know? You don't have to foot wash, you know? Waving palm branches, holding up a bread and a cup and, you know? This is very childish, guys. I'm going to keep posting this stuff until people get it because this needs to go forth. The teachers aren't saying this. Teachers want you under their thumb, getting their paraphernalia, coming to them for the truth, standing in the doorway. You brood of wicked vipers, get out of the doorway. Idiots, get out of the doorway and let people come in to Yahusha. I don't want to get in the way for it. I'm just putting this out because Yahusha's given it to us. Run with it. Research it more if you like. I'd love to know what you've got to say under the video. Tell me what if Yahusha's been, if you've been feeling this sort of thing this year and just didn't know how to put it into words, tell us. Say, oh, this is amazing. This rings true to me. I've been wondering about this for years now. It didn't seem like it was alive or real to me, because it didn't to me. I just didn't really have the words or, you know, confidence, I guess. Didn't think I had the right to, you know, declare such things. But after a while, you look at what's going on around you out in the marketplace, and you just think, oh, Yahusha was angry at the marketplace. Why can't we be angry? I would walk away. In fact, I wouldn't even be bothered to be angry. Just walk away from it. Don't have anything to do with the marketplace. The marketplace of the Messianic Nazarene believers and doing all this nonsense. Anyway, I've gone off on a rant here. True believers no longer worship these booths. True believers no longer put up booths or worship these images, okay? True believers don't do that. They don't erect any of these things anymore. They understand it is bringing Satan among us. No different than a Christmas tree. If you are putting up a sukkah, blowing your shofar, washing your feet and doing all this nonsense, you are just like bringing in a Christmas tree. It's just like bringing in a Christmas tree. What's the idol? What's the pagan deity I'm celebrating? Yourself. And who's in you if you're doing that? Ha-Shatan is in there, getting you to focus on yourself. Fasting is all about yourself. Putting up booths and sitting under there and, you know, in this primitive structure, you know. What's that about? Focusing on yourself. All the neighbours are going, what's that whackhead over there doing? You know? That's what this article's about. This guy's got his binocular looking at this thing getting built up over the course of a week. It's all religious nonsense shadows, guys. It's scriptural shadows. You don't have to do all this. You're making a mockery. You are making a mockery of a beautiful, amazing time that Yahusha has fulfilled or is about to. You're making a mockery out of it. It's supposed to be an amazing, beautiful thing where you understand what Yahusha's done for you. And what's happened? It's no different than bringing a Christmas tree in because it's all about self. All about self. We refuse to worship Satan through his booth tradition. We refuse to worship Satan through his booth tradition, which gives honor to Satan rather than Yahushua HaMashiach. It gives honor to Satan instead of Yahushua HaMashiach because we are the booths. Why would you build the booth when we are the booths? Can you build something better than this earthly structure? This creation was good and it was perfect once upon a time. Before it got, wrecked by the enemy. We are the living dwelling place of Yahuah. The living Elohim dwells in this earthly vessel. If you've been immersed in the name of Yahusha, not any other weirdo, silly thing that you've come up with. Yahusha. Yahusha is the name above all names that you need to be immersed into for your deliverance. And then he puts you on his path of deliverance, redemptive feasts, obeying the wedding vows, the instructions at Sinai that he put forward. He puts a down payment of his Ruach inside us, his essence, so that we are empowered to do this and love it. you know? So knowing this knowledge, how far behind are you in your true worship? Now that you know this, how far behind are you? Are you still stuck in a booth worshipping traditions of men, distracting you from the true worship of truth and sincerity? Distracting you from the true worship of sincerity and truth to Yahusha and each other? It's a distraction. Another distraction in our day. Know also that doing this wickedness and living in the darkness of shadows, that was good, instead of living in the light. Know also that doing this is wickedness. Now, I'm not having a go at you because I don't believe you're doing this intentionally, because I didn't know this till this year, this week. I hope these videos have shown you that even when I've posted the first video, I didn't even know half this stuff. This has been an unveiling revelation to us. Yahusha's been talking to us during the week, and I've just been posting stuff, videos, to keep you in the loop. We don't want to have any secrets from you. This year, Yahusha has been blowing our brains, saying, you don't have to do any of this. Doing this wickedness and living in the darkness of the shadows, it's darkness. It wasn't darkness to them back there because he was using it to teach them, to wash their minds, to prepare them for when he would arrive. And even so, they didn't recognize him. And he's washing our minds today with his blood and with his word. But we have to see in the 21st century context of through his sacrifice, and through his fulfillment of most of the feasts, just not the last few. But he has fulfilled those last feasts in the sense that he is living within us. They didn't have that back then. He lives within us. We don't need all these external symbols and external reminders and external this and external that. The weekly Shabbat is not an external reminder. It's the sign of the everlasting covenant that we the blood covenant, and we rest and we love it. It's the best day of the week as far as I'm concerned. It's anointed. It's set apart day. So don't worry, we're not going to put a video up about getting rid of that. But I'm talking about all these shadows that we use to teach us about what Yahusha would do. And everybody still wants to look at the shadows instead of Yahusha. So knowing this knowledge, how far behind are you in your true worship? Are you still stuck in a booth worshipping traditions of men, distracting you from the true worship of sincerity and truth to Yahusha and each other? Know also that doing this wickedness and living in the darkness of shadows, it's darkness, because Yahusha came along to bring the light. He is the light. Living in the darkness of shadows instead of living in the light. Wouldn't you rather live in the light? You know? I'm trying to come to you as directly as I can in this video, but can you see the essence, the feeling, the spirit? Can you see Yahusha in this? Look at that article I posted. Can you see how religious? It's not even religious now, it's worldly and religious. Don't let yourself be encumbered by the traditions of men, the traditions of wickedness from Satan's armament, Satan's arsenal. Remembering we are at war. We're at war, guys. This Sukkah is satanic worship. What on earth is this Sukkah doing in that empty parking lot? I'm just blown away by the timing. You couldn't plan this, guys. You couldn't plan. I'm ready to release the new, start releasing the new scriptures, Exodus, and that's been put on hold because this is much more exciting to me right now because it's fresh. Mozzie. This is fresh. Bloody Mozzies. This is fresh. It's real. You're in real time. I'm recording it right now and I'm going to upload it straight away. No editing. No, nothing like that. I want you to be a part of this amazing thing that Yahusha's doing this week of Sukkot this year. Booths. It's phenomenal where Yahusha's taking us, guys. Taking us to greener and greener pastures. Doesn't want us weighed down with all these things, like when we were in the church, in the circus, all these things we had to do to worship him. And then we realize not only do we not have to do all that, we weren't even worshipping him to start with. Well, Satan's in our feasts, guys. You don't have to do all that stuff anymore. This isn't because I'm crying legalism or crying replacement theology, replying this or crying out for that. I'm not declaring any of that nonsense that they do. I'm just saying we're all there holding up our bread and our wine and, you know, blowing our shofars, washing feet, getting together real solemn and serious and reading our scriptures. And Yahusha's just walking right past like he did last time he was here. Yahusha's walking past going, come here, oi, come here. And we're like, no, we can't, we've got to finish this first. He's like, okay, who else wants me? He's always moving on because he's in us. We are the living, we are the Sukkah. We are the booth. He came amongst us at this time and he put on flesh and he boothed among us. Why? So that he could become the suffering servant, the spotless lamb, offer himself up as the ultimate sacrifice. And through his blood, we will be resurrected. Through his blood, we are delivered. And remember, his blood sacrifice stands outside of time. It is just as fresh yesterday as it is today as it will be tomorrow. That's why you can call out to him. Other believers have said, I'm in a massive attack. There is a huge attack happening among the bride right now. You know, I'm being attacked, brother. I'm being attacked, sister. I'm being attacked. Satan's getting me to do all this stuff and look at things and do things. And, you know, that's true. He is. But you know what? You don't have to be downtrodden. Keep walking forward. And if you fall over, if you stumble, if you do something wicked, Mozzie, if you do something wicked, don't stay there, because that's what Satan wants. He tempts us. He knows what desires are in our heart. He knows the things that come out of this earthly vessel, that thing that we're in that controls us, you know. So if you do something wrong, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, start all over again with Yahusha. They say, I'm sorry, Father, I'm not going to do that. And he says, go and don't do it anymore. Go. You're forgiven. I've thrown it as far as the east is from the west. I've forgotten about it. Go and don't do it again. And you keep going. Pick yourself up and keep going. That's his love, brothers and sisters. Not to hold us down in satanic rituals. What about that? I nearly died when Christopher wrote that. The Christmas tree. It's just like putting up a Christmas tree. Well, they're both made of wood. You know. And they're both honouring the wickedness of self, the wickedness of Satan in our feasts, bringing Satan into our homes. I hope you can join the dots and connect and understand this, brothers and sisters. You know, I'm not having a go at you because I don't think you knew about this, but I'm definitely having a go at the enemy and I'm having a go at the tradition. That's what I'm having a go at, the tradition. Tradition! Because it's got to die. All of it's crumbling, guys, on a slippery slope to destruction. So come out, and at this time of year, be liberated, be free. Not free to be disobedient. Oh, he just wants us to be disobedient. No, not at all. Obedient to the voice of Yahusha. Obedient to his word. But when you read his word, you've got to understand who he's talking to. And you've got to filter everything you read through the context of Yahusha's blood, through Yahusha's sacrifice, through Yahusha. What did you think about this, Father? His Ruach is inside you, if you've been immersed in the name of Yahusha. His Ruach is inside you. So you've got to read the scriptures in context. Not just in the valley of the darkness and the shadow dwellers. Otherwise you end up setting up a religious movement. And we want to keep going. I've been in the Christian movement, Jewish Orthodox movement, Messianic movement, Nazarene movement. I've been in those movements and I had a lot of fun in them at the time, but I want to keep going to greener pastures because Yahusha's always moving on. It's so exciting. I'm going to stop rambling on now, guys. I think you've got the message. Go and cut down all those Christmas trees. Get rid of all those sukkahs. You are the sukkah. You are the living dwelling place of Yahusha. So have him. Come boldly and have him. I love you guys. Peace.